They were setting up the Fremantle Community Bank. They were having a few problems and they knew that I was involved in community and they asked if I'd come onto the board of the bank. They'd raised a bit of money but they'd spent it all. And they wanted some business development skills essentially, but there was a bonus that it was somebody that had been involved in community, even if it was down this way. And getting involved down here, down Cockburn, I did get to meet a lot of the people that were involved from Fremantle, because Fremantle tended to take an interest in what's happening down here. So yeah, that was the sort of start of it. When I got involved with Fremantle, Fremantle was a really strange beast to me. From the outside, Fremantle looks really complicated. It was interesting getting involved through the community bank, slowly having to go out and meet people that were influential in that community. I knew nothing about Fremantle really, other than what most outsiders know. But I did start to learn that a lot of the initiatives that they sort of promote or drive come from community groups rather than from initiated from the top at council. Which is complete opposite to Cockburn. That creates a lot more passion in what happens in Fremantle. But in other ways, it means that people have to be patient to get things done and get things coordinated. But the change, I think, is more certain in terms of heading in the right direction. There was sort of a group that seemed to be trying to do something different, trying to get a broader, more diverse sort of range of dialogue going. So I attended their first session, their first meeting, and subsequently I've tried to attend all the meetings. And that sort of was an initiative, I think, of Brad and Doug Thompson. And Bruce Moriarty seemed to be in the background. That's how I got to meet Bruce as well. They didn't have an agenda as such, but they gave people an opportunity to speak. And I got to learn a bit more about the different groups involved in different issues around Fremantle. And they were all community issues, which was really how I saw taking the community bank forward. But I feel very lucky. I guess I hitchhike. I go in and that's part of my hitchhiking.
No,
See, I go in and out.
Because you're not a resident, really.
I don't get involved every day, so I don't get involved in the issues from a personal point of view. I don't have the same passion for things as I would around here. I started to think about how Fremantle's developed over the years, how it started as a fort. And it seems to me that it still seems like a place under siege. The people there feel under siege from all sorts of directions. And yet, when I look at Fremantle's potential, I think about what Fremantle can do for other places, not for itself. It's a different mindset. Doug Thompson came down to the Bendigo Bank State Conference in place of Brad, because Brad was busy. And we had a bit of a pre-conference session basically on the future of community. Doug said that he came up with something like, since 2002, a policeman, a nurse and a teacher, those three professions on their wage, could never afford to live in Fremantle. We're never going to be able to buy a house on their wage, which tends to suggest that you might not be able to bring the old Fremantle back, rezoning may not be enough. It needs to be a lot more all-encompassing vision. And the only way that I can see that you can make the change is for Fremantle to start creating a vision of what it can do for WA, what it can do for the world, what it can, rather than what it can do for itself. I'm talking about creating export industries and the way it thinks. A perfect example of what I'm trying to do is to help. Fremantle has a Living Smart program that it started a while back. Now it's a sort of a program that's sort of self-organising. It's being left to grow in its own way. It has its own, I guess, personality. And it's totally relying on the people to get involved. I'm looking for ways to export that through the community bank network. So that's something. It's a program. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of understanding sustainability. It's a way of engaging community. That's a bit different. And I don't see why things like that can't be a sense of nourishment for Fremantle itself, just by the sort of people that would come into Fremantle to be part of that program if it grows, if it becomes an export industry for Fremantle. I mean, at the end of the day, Fremantle's a port. It's in the old days it was a centre of commerce. And whilst you've got to look at zoning and you've got to look at, you've still got to look at economic development, but economic development is really about generating activity, bringing people in of like mind. And again, Fremantle has got 2 institutes. You've got Murdoch and Curtin involved there in sustainability. And sustainability's got, I don't think we've even scratched the surface of where it can go. I mean, at the moment it's really driven on correcting a lot of things that are happening out there. But at the end of the day, and this is the nice thing about the Living Smart program and things like that, when you start to grow communities, you've got time to celebrate things, and when you've got interesting people celebrating in different ways, it attracts other people, you know. But Fremantle, I think, has got to have an outward view before it'll bring people together to create that sort of magnet, because they're still too busy contemplating their navel.
That would be
What Fremantle should be itself. I don't think you should be too prescriptive of what Fremantle should be. If you can get involved in the issues, and Fremantle's the centre of new ideas and spreading some sort of new gospel, then people will come to be part of it.